People with limitations in mobility need assistance from people like you to help them get around in the community for activities such as a doctor's appointment, attending religious ceremonies, grocery shopping, or just visiting with family and friends. The goal of this video is to demonstrate practices that you can use when assisting these individuals in safe transportation. Assisting the older adult can be very rewarding for both you and the individual you're helping. To begin, you may need to spend a few minutes building rapport with the older adult if this is not someone you already know well. However, even if this is a family member, friend, or neighbor, there are some basic communication tips you may want to consider. If an older adult is seated, lower yourself in order to make good eye contact and so that they can see your lips as you talk. Many older adults enhance their understanding by reading lips, so make sure you stay within their field of vision while you are talking. For an older adult that may be hard of hearing, you do not need to raise your voice because lower voice registers are actually easier to be heard. Include the older adult in the plan for the day by reviewing the time, place, and appointment or activity that you will be assisting them with. Be sure to let the person know what to expect. For example, if you need to move their wheelchair, touch them, or leave the room, let the person know what you plan to do before you do it. As you get ready to assist the older adult, safety for yourself and the individual is important to remember. There are two main safety points to remember. The first safety point is being able to help steady the older adult in case they lose their balance or footing. Even if the individual is able to walk, you may want to consider using a gait belt around their waist. You can use an old belt if you do not have a gait belt, or use their belt if they have one on. The purpose of the belt is to give you a way to hold on to the individual and assist them in keeping or recovering their balance while walking. The second safety point is body mechanics. While safety is important for the individual you're assisting, remember that your safety is important for you as well. Make sure you use good body mechanics. This means that you should always bend your knees when lifting instead of your back. Make sure that you are always close enough to the person you are assisting so that your back can stay straight. Now you're ready to help the senior begin moving. Take a look around and make sure that you have a clear path. You may need to remove any clutter or debris on the floor or ground that could be a potential trip hazard. If you're in a location unfamiliar to the adult, make sure you let them know if there is an uneven landscape, steps, curbs, or other obstacles they will have to navigate around. When getting ready to stand, ask the individual if they have a weaker side. You will want to stand on that side throughout the process described below. If they do not identify a side as weaker, then you can stand on either side to assist. First, get the older adult to scoot to the edge of the chair so their feet are flat on the ground and under their knees. Only their bottom and upper thighs should be on the chair. If there are armrests, the person can place their hands on the armrests and push off to stand. If there are no armrests, after moving to the edge of the chair, move to the side of chair where one leg is over the edge. Then, the older adult can use the other side of the chair to push up. Make sure to stand near them in case they lose their balance or need help. Once you're up and walking, try to keep your own walking pattern in rhythm with the individual you're assisting to help them maintain a smooth and balanced stride. Go slow and make sure you do not rush the individual. If the person starts to lose their balance, simply use the gait belt to guide them back into midline and balance. Some of the seniors you will help may use assistive devices such as a walker or a wheelchair. We will go over how to help the senior with these devices. If the older adult uses a walker, make sure that the walker is placed in front of them. Make sure they push themselves up from the chair arms, and then once standing, they should grasp the walker handles. After the person is standing, they can hold on to the walker. You may need to remind the walker user of these safety tips. Always stay within the walker frame. Never let the walker get too far ahead. Keep your hands on the walker at all times. If the individual needs to carry some items such as a handbag or personal items, you may offer to carry for them or use a walker bag as the one shown here. When assisting the older adult to return to the chair while using a walker, have them back up so the back of their legs touch the chair before they sit down. It may be helpful to have the individual reach back to the chair with one arm and hold on to the middle of the walker with the other. As you ready the individual to get into the car for transportation, there are a few preparatory steps you should complete. First, be aware of obstacles along the path from the building to the car. Obstacles that can be a problem are curbs, narrow pathways, and poorly lit areas. It is important to remember that a person with a visual problem may not recognize curbs, small steps, or small changes in the landscape where they are walking. A good way to help the person is to tell them what changes ahead. Pause when you approach the obstacle so you can prepare and guide them as they walk. Next, you will need to prepare the car. Due to joint limitations in the hips and knees, getting in the car can be made easier with simple adjustments to the car seat. Make sure the passenger seat is as far back as it will go. This will allow greater space to get the legs into the car. If the car seat will rise to make it higher, make that adjustment also. Now you're ready to help the older adult to the car. Once they get to the car, they should turn their walker and back up to the passenger side until they feel the car on the back of their legs. The older adult can then reach back for the edge of the car or seat on the right and the dashboard on the left. They can then lower themselves into the car. Be careful that they do not hit their head on the frame of the door while sitting by simply using your hand as a buffer. A car aid such as a handy bar may also be helpful to provide a handhold to assist the individual in both lowering themselves and in getting out of the car. To get their legs into the car, the individual can then use their foot or leg to push themselves back in the seat and then lift one leg at a time into the car. Sometimes, a person may need help lifting their legs into the car. If they're unable to turn themselves in the seat, use a car-padded swivel seat. Once the individual is in the car, the walker can be folded up and placed in the back seat or trunk. To get out of the car with the walker, simply reverse these steps. Again, individuals may need help lifting their legs out of the car. Make sure their feet are firmly on the ground before trying to stand. For the individual who uses a wheelchair, the techniques to assist the older adult are a little different. To assist the individual from a chair to the wheelchair, you will need to remove or swing away the foot plates of the wheelchair if possible. Place the wheelchair next to the individual with the brakes in the fully locked position. Next, have the person scoot to the edge of the chair so their feet are flat on the ground and only their bottom and upper thighs are on the chair. Their feet should be under their knees and they should place their hands on the chair arms to help push themselves up into standing. It is not wise to let somebody put their arms around your neck as they can pull you off balance or injure your neck. To come into a standing position, the individual should bend slightly forward, looking forward while pushing up on the armrests. Stand close to the individual and guide them with the gate or safety belt. Once standing and steady, have the individual turn by pivoting their feet so that their back is facing the wheelchair while reaching back for the wheelchair armrests. Next, the person in a wheelchair will need different types of assistance to get in and out of a car. You will prepare the car the same as discussed before by getting the seat as far back as it will go to allow more leg space and checking the path before getting started. Assist the individual to the passenger side of the car. Before you position the chair for the transfer, you will need to remove or swing away the foot plates to allow greater maneuverability. Get the chair as close to the car as possible and lock the chair. Have the person scoot to the edge of the chair so their feet are flat on the ground and only their bottom and upper thighs are on the chair. Make sure their feet are under their knees. The individual should bend slightly forward while pushing up on the armrests. It is not wise to let somebody put their arms around your neck as they can pull you off balance or injure your neck. You should stand close to the individual, guiding them with the gate or safety belt. Have the individual turn by pivoting their feet so that their back is facing the car. Once standing with their back to the car, have them reach back with their hands, placing one on the seat and one on the dash of the car. If they are unable to reach all the way back to the seat, use a car door handy bar. Assist the individual to lower their body to sit in the car. Watch their head, careful not to bump it on the car. Lift the legs into the car one at a time. Make sure the seat is comfortable. Adjust if needed and buckle up. To load the wheelchair into the back seat of the car, simply collapse the chair and using the push bars, push down so as to tilt the wheelchair back so the front wheels come off the ground. Roll the chair into the car and lift the back wheels up by pushing up on the push bars to slide the chair in. To unload the wheelchair from the car, push up on the push bars to lift the back wheels up. Roll the wheelchair out of the car on the front wheels. Lower the back wheels to the ground and push down on the handles to lift the front wheels up and roll the wheelchair out of the car. As you help transport older adults with special mobility needs, make sure that the car is parked close to a ramp and/or a curb cut so it's easier to maneuver the wheelchair to and from the building. When you have arrived and it's time to get out of the car, remove the wheelchair from the car, rolling it up to the passenger side of the car. Place the brakes in the lock position and make sure the foot plates or leg rests are out of the way. Have the individuals swing their legs out of the car one at a time. Scoot to the edge of the seat so their feet are flat on the ground, readying to stand. Have the individual use the car door handy bar and the dash or inside of the door to push up. Be careful if you're using the car door, as it will move and cause the individual to lose their balance. You may want to steady the door for them. Once the individual has pushed themselves into a standing position, they should turn towards the chair so that their back is facing the wheelchair, reaching back to the armrest and slowly lowering their body into the chair. Once seated, have them scoot to the back of the chair. At this point, you may need to unlock the chair to pull the chair back and away from the car so that you can attach the leg rests and foot plates. Now, have the individual place their feet on the foot plates. Remember to always relock the chair to allow you to do these last steps. Helping the older adults to stay connected in our communities is greatly needed. This service contributes to their overall health and well-being. We hope what you have learned in this video will encourage you to help others.